What's going on, fight fans? It's Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Rob Jarrell, and this is the preview to tonight's welterweight matchup featuring Vergil Ortiz Jr. taking on Egidijus Kavaliauskas. If you're from Lithuania, please feel free to correct me because I had the hardest time with his first name. But let's get into it. In this fight, it's very interesting. We had two guys who have pretty much done everything that they've needed to done on their current level. Vergil Ortiz is 17-0 with 17 knockouts. So he's looking to put a stamp on this and get into that championship bout echelon versus the top 10 fighters in this division. And he's taking on a guy in Kavaliauskas who took a huge step up, taking on Terrence Bud Crawford. But in that fight, while he did look good in the first few rounds, Crawford did what Crawford does. He took his man out, and he took it out by breaking him down over the course of 9 rounds. He always takes some time to figure out his opponents in the first few rounds. Kavaliauskas was no different, and as you watch the fight, you can see Terrence Crawford getting his timing down and starting to tag Kavaliauskas to land the TKO. So, Vergil Ortiz, 5'10", about an inch taller with about a 1-inch reach advantage over Kavaliauskas. Both of the guys are solid. They're really, really good punchers. In the 22 wins for Kavaliauskas, because he's 22-1-1, he has 18 knockouts, and he usually breaks his opponents down over several rounds. And being that he's a Eastern European type fighter, he's very consistent. He has a great pole-like piston jab that he uses to time his opponents, to set up his power shots and really work off of it. Whereas Vergil Ortiz is a very explosive puncher, very dynamic offensive fighter, and really likes to explode on his opponents, throwing a variety of different shots, while also cutting a variety of different angles, especially when he gets his opponents against the ropes. If you look at the fight with Samuel Vargas, Vergil Ortiz really didn't stand in front of him. He moved from side to side looking for the perfect shot, where Kavaliauskas is not a lateral type fighter. He's back and forth, similar to Kovalev. Those guys are very technically sound, defensively responsible, and you have to have some gifts to really take advantage of that tighter defense, great mechanics, great balance. Vergil Ortiz, come forward. He can throw a good jab, but really he wants to land the 2-3 or the 3-2. I am looking for this to be a great fight. So for Kavaliauskas, he's going to, again, work the jab. Because Vergil Ortiz likes to jump in, because he's explosive, because he can fight from the mid to inside range, whenever he jumps in, he wants to time him with that jab and work off of it. If he can throw that jab anytime that Vergil Ortiz comes in, he'll try to deter him, to try to take away that aggressiveness and really make him apprehensive to come in where he can start to step into his range, where he feels comfortable. Now, Kavaliauskas can't just rely simply on his jab. Now, he throws a really good hook off the jab, especially toward the body, and I think that aspect is going to help him in this fight by working the body of Ortiz. Hit the jab, step in to the left, boom, left to the body, uppercut right, come upstairs with another right. I think that's going to get Vergil Ortiz attention. Also, he has to take advantage of Vergil Ortiz taking time off during the rounds. Vergil Ortiz is so explosive that he could really punch himself out, and he has to reset his stamina to do it again. And he has great stamina, great wind, however you want to say it, great conditioning. But because he's so explosive and he likes to throw punches and bunches, there's going to be some times where he's going to be tired, he's going to need to take a breath, and then he can really be pushed back. Vergil Ortiz, on the other hand, he has to look up for that jab. He has to take his head off the center. So if he can come side to side and try to lean, boom, and then kind of come side to side, when Kavaliauskas throws that jab, if he can turn him just enough to land a left hook or a right uppercut, I think once that first punch lands, then he can just explode just like that. Another thing, he's got to break Kavaliauskas down. He's got to realize that he's not going to get him out with one shot or even just one simple flurry. He's going to have to break him down because he's very good under pressure. He's very solid. He's got a solid build, solid legs. So he's not just going to be simply an easy out. He's got to be patient. Kavaliauskas is patient, but he's going to have to stand his ground because once Vergil Ortiz starts to push him back consistently, then he has a problem because he can throw, because he's going to be turned into a counterpuncher. He has shown good counterpunching, but that has been against lower level competition. And Vergil Ortiz is not lower level competition. He's going to really be looking to take that fight. So he's got to stay in his ground. He's going to have to weather the storm the best that he can. And he can't simply cover up because if it's a your turn, my turn type situation, Ortiz is going to win that battle every time. And Ortiz has gotten caught up in that by putting up a high guard, but Kavaliauskas does not put up a high guard, and he doesn't particularly use his feet well defensively. He may back up, but he doesn't really back up fast enough to withstand that explosiveness. He likes to move side to side. He likes to turn with the punches, but that's not always a great idea because you have to, one, be aware of each punch, get the timing down, and see most of everything that's coming. Because if he doesn't see where these punches are coming with Vergil Ortiz, and he's going to throw a lot, he's going to throw a lot from several angles, and he's going to throw them a lot explosively, he's going to catch Kavaliauskas. So he has to be very defensive minded. He's got to get the timing down, and he can't wilt. Vergil Ortiz, don't blow your wad, because the moment you do that, that consistency, that steady pace of Kavaliauskas is going to always be there. And if he catches you and hurts you like he did with Mikhail Zuzki in his last fight, he's going to explode on you. And that's what happened with Zuzki. He got caught lunging in with the right uppercut. Yes, a right uppercut. And it really hurt him. And Kavaliauskas jumped on him. And he wasn't going to let him down. He let him go until he went down. It took quite a few punches. And even though Zuzki made it through the end of that round, as soon as the next round began, boom, he was on top of him. So he can't be too reckless in jumping in with those explosive punches. Because once Kavaliauskas gets that time and starts punching in between those, landing that jab, taking you off your spot, then that's a wrap. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. I think someone's getting knocked out. I think it's going to be Kavaliauskas. I think Ortiz is really going to land a lot of good punches. I don't think it's going to be early. I can see this being between 7 to 9 rounds. I think it could end faster than the Crawford fight because Vergil Ortiz is just that good offensively. And I think he has enough defense to not get caught consistently. And I know no Lithuanian guy, the fans are going to hate me for that, but that's just my pick. Not because I favor one or the other for any other reasons. I just think that Vergil Ortiz offensive dynamicness will overcome that steady pace, that piston-like jab, and that solid Eastern European skill in this fight. And this is a fight that Vergil Ortiz wants to look good in because he wants to fight for a title next. And this is probably the best fight to get him in the ring with Terrence Crawford, who's going to be fighting Sean Porter next. And maybe some of the PBC guys. I don't know. Tell us what you think. That's all I got for you today. Put it down in the comment section. Hit us up on Instagram at Capital Combat, Twitter Capital Combat, Facebook Capital of Combat, and Gmail capitalcombat@gmail.com. Be respectful to us and yourselves. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can get the latest and greatest from myself and my homie Hakeem. And until next time, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire.